Hello, I'm Michael Ammar. Welcome to Amazing Secrets of Card Magic. This historic Victorian landmark is perfect for this topic because we're at the Mansion Hotel in San Francisco, where magic is performed by professional magicians every night of the week. I'll be your guide on this journey, so you won't need a map or a compass for this trip. Just bring a pack of cards and I'll take you to your first magical secret. Let's say you're at a friend's house and someone hands you a deck of cards. Here's something you'll be able to do right now. The magic can happen with any card of the deck. In fact, I can even do it with more than one card. For example, let's take the 7 and 8 of clubs and spades. We'll put these two cards into two different parts of the deck. Watch as I make the magic happen without even touching the cards, with just a wave of my hand. Not just one, but both of those cards magically reverse themselves in spite of being in two different parts of the deck. In this presentation of the effect, casting a shadow is what makes the magic happen. To perform, you'll need both black 7s and both black 8s. That is, the 7 and 8 of clubs and spades. When you switch suits and values, you end up with two sets of cards so similar that no one would know if you switched one set for the other, which is, in fact, what you end up doing. Before you begin the effect, secretly take one set and place them face up near the center of the deck. Then place the other 7 and 8 on top of the deck. To begin, show the top two cards, and although you call them by name, don't make a big deal out of it. Just say their names, then turn them over and put them into the deck. Do something to indicate that magic is taking place. Cast a shadow, snap your fingers, then show the two cards reversed. And the spectators will assume that the cards that are reversed are those which you showed at the beginning. But now I want to show you how the same secret can be presented in an entirely different way. In our first presentation, the secret was used to create a magical effect. Now, I'll use the concept with a presentation that dresses the effect as a demonstration of sleight of hand. For years, I've tried to train my fingers to be able to distinguish one card from another, even when those cards have been shuffled into the deck. For example, let's take two different cards, the King and Queen of Hearts and Diamonds. I'll put those into two different parts of the deck, and I'll square them up. They seem to be lost, and yet, not only can I find those cards, but I can find them both at the exact same time. Now you know why my friends never play cards with me. Again, we use the principle of two similar sets of cards being substituted for their two lookalikes. In this case, one queen was on the bottom and the king was on the top of the deck. Then on top of that king, we put the look-alike queen and king. Since our effect is presented as a demonstration of skill as opposed to magic, I used some of the simple flourishes we'll cover later in the tape. As before, I put the first pair of look-alikes into the deck, apparently losing them. Holding the deck in my right hand with the thumb on top and the fingers on the bottom card, I toss the deck into the left hand. The momentum carries all the cards across except for the top and bottom card. To the audience, it'll appear as if you plucked the two cards from the deck in an amazing demonstration of sleight of hand. Oh, now that you've learned your first magical secret, I'm going to teach you one of the secrets of how to make music. Here's how to play the piano. By pushing on these keys here, a hammer jumps up and hits a chord in the back of the piano. Then, by working the keys down here, you can create a variety of different sounds. That's how it's done. Of course, about now you might be thinking, wait a minute. Knowing that a hammer hits a chord in the back of the piano does not make me a musician, and you'd be right. Knowing how to do this won't make you a musician and knowing secrets of magic won't make you a magician. Just as it takes more than sound to make music, there are other principles of magic more important and further reaching than knowing how the trick is done. It will be these additional secrets that turn simple tricks into either demonstrations of magic or into examples of mind-boggling sleight of hand. So along with the magical secrets, we'll also show you how to handle the cards like a professional, how to develop entertaining presentations, to successfully plan and execute your performances, and finally, how to add simple flourishes such as the spread, turnover, and scoop, so you'll make a powerful impression on everyone who watches. Every area of specialization has its own language. Card magic is no different. Here's an overview of the definitions that constitute a basic understanding of card magic. A full deck is made up of 52 cards, with a joker or two being optional. There are 13 cards in each of the 4 suits. The 4 suits are clubs, hearts, spades, and diamonds. A bridge deck is made up of the same cards as a poker deck, but a poker deck is just slightly wider than a bridge deck. This is the top of the deck, this is the bottom of the deck, the backs of the cards, the faces of the cards. These cards are called by several names: face cards, court cards, or picture cards. These are known as spot cards, also known as number cards. This is dealing the cards with one hand, or it could be called thumbing the cards off the deck. This is the standard method of dealing cards. This type of deal reverses the order of the cards. This is dealing the cards as in stud poker. This method of dealing cards keeps all of the cards in their original order. This is known as the dealer's grip. This grip on the cards has 3 different names: the overhand grip, the straddle grip, or the biddle grip, depending on what you're going to do with the deck. This is an out-jogged card, an in-jogged card, a side-jogged card, and this is a card being pushed flush with the deck. This is an overhand shuffle. This is called the Hindu shuffle. This is a tabled riffle shuffle. This is also a tabled riffle shuffle with a waterfall finish. This is cutting the cards. This is completing the cut. This is cutting the cards in the hands. This is a kick cut. This is cutting the cards to the table. And this is running cuts from the hands to the table. And finally, this is a tabled running cut. Do you believe in the power of the mind to control the future or influence the actions of others?
Sure.
No.
Well, we'll give it a shot here. We'll give it a shot. In fact, since you're the skeptic, I'm going to try it with you. Okay, make your mind a blank. Pull one card towards you, but before you do, I'm going to try and influence your actions to pick the Jack of Clubs. Okay, now any card, pull it towards yourself. There you go. Let's see. Oh, good job. Now, I'm going to try now. This time, I'm going to try and find the 6 of spades, okay? Let's see. I'll pull this one forward. Yeah, I've got to confess that if even one of us came close, that would be quite a trick. And it doesn't look like I came close. See, I got it exactly right. There's the 6 of spades, the card I was trying for, but even more impressive, you got yours exactly right, too. Good job. Good job. I've got a kind of a little hobby. I like to study the way people shuffle cards. It's a fascinating thing. May I see how you shuffle the cards, please? You're a poker player. That's a good shuffle. I do it in kind of a weird way. You see, what I do is I take some of the cards face up, some of them face down, face up into face down. And I realize that this looks pretty weird, but the thing is, by doing this, I really lower people's expectations during a poker game. See, but who would play poker with somebody that's got cards face up and face down and back to back? The only way to resolve that issue is to riffle the deck, just like this. And that causes every single card to turn exactly the right way. In mind power, you'll be using a principle known as the one-ahead principle. All you need to know is the location and identity of one card, so you can perform This effect if you know what the top or the bottom card is, but it's particularly effective if you know the position of the 5th or 6th card from the top or the bottom. I learned the 6th card from the top by pushing over 6 cards. Then I lifted them up so that I could see inside to the identity of that card. Once you know that card, spread the deck and ask the spectator to move a card forward. As they do, you name the card that you just peeked, in this case, the Ace of Clubs. Don't worry if the spectator doesn't take the card you named, because they aren't supposed to. Of course, if they do, stop the trick right there and you'll have a miracle. But remember, this is called the one ahead principle. So you look at the card they pushed forward and say, great. Once you know the name of the card they moved forward, say you're going to try and pick a card. Then name the card they just pushed forward. As you reach down and take the card you named in the first place, in this case, the 6th card from the top of the deck. Now you'll be holding both of the cards you named. Mix them around once, maybe twice, as you say, I got my card. Then dramatically build up the next revelation as you show that the first card matches as well. This principle is so deceptive, you could do this effect for 3 people at the same time by asking the next person to slide forward the card the previous person had actually slid forward. Then you finish by finally picking the card you had located in the first place. But like I said, I like it best when just 2 people perform it, but again, it's effective with up to 3 people. Form the slop shuffle. Secretly bend the entire deck downward by the ends. Then hold the deck in the left-hand dealing position. Push over 4 or 5 cards with the left thumb. The right hand takes them palm up, then immediately turns palm down as the left thumb pushes over several more cards. Then the right hand turns palm up again, so it takes more cards from the left hand. The left hand stays perfectly still, except for pushing the cards over. Continue till all the cards have been taken into the right hands, with the cards always going to the bottom of the right hand packet. While it seems as if the cards would be completely mixed up, because the right hand was turning palm up and palm down, and because all of the cards were going onto the bottom of the right hand pack, the deck will be divided with all of the face-up cards together and all of the face-down cards together. Because of the bend you put into the deck earlier, you'll easily be able to spot where the halves come together. To reverse the top half, I show the cards as face up and face down until I come to the break. Then, as I'm showing the situation, I reverse the upper half as they go back together. Some people may want to hold a separation between the 2 halves as they go quickly behind their back with the deck. Riffle the cards, and during the split second the cards are behind the back, you reverse the upper half and show that all the cards are back facing the exact same way. The past masters of card magic have developed a set of invaluable guidelines for the performance of card magic. First, never tell how a trick is done. Preserving our secrets has always been the sacred duty of every magician. Magicians may share their knowledge with one another, and someone may introduce genuinely interested newcomers to magic, but one must never reveal how something is done just to satisfy someone's curiosity. When your friends and family ask, "How did you do that?" don't tell them. History has proven that more often than not, people are actually disappointed if you tell them, even if they beg to know. Number 2, never repeat a trick for the same audience. Everything changes when you repeat an effect. You've lost the element of surprise, and their only motive now is to see if they can catch you. Magic should never be presented as a win-lose contest, but as a source of surprise and astonishment for everyone to enjoy. 3, never tell your audience what you're going to do ahead of time. If they don't know what you're going to do, they don't know what to look for. Even if you mess up, they may never know it. The element of surprise is far too strong an advantage to ever give up. Number 4, be natural. Natural in your mannerisms, natural in your presentation, natural in the way you speak, and natural in the way you handle yourself and the cards. In other words, Be yourself. Number 5, practice, practice, practice. Some magic secrets can be learned in an instant. As soon as you hear them, there's an immediate enlightenment. But the performance of those instant secrets takes practice. Turning these secrets into an astonishing magical experience still requires thought and planning. And it is a combination of all of those things which requires practice, practice, practice. A performance is a giving thing, so perform in order that others may gain an enjoyably astonishing experience. This time I'm going to drop some cards onto the table. Just pull one towards yourself for me. Got one? Now I'm going to count these cards into a pile on the table. We need at least 10 because the value of that card is going to tell us how many piles we'll make with this pile here. And a face card or a court card will be 10. An ace will equal 1. Let's see, it looks like we've got at least 10. Now you determine the number in this pile by saying stop at any time.
Stop.
Whoa, I was touching this card. It could have been either way. You want it on top? You want it here? Where would you? Okay, that changes everything. Let's see, turn that card face up so we'll know how many piles we'll be dealing. Okay, let's see. It doesn't matter how many cards we end up with because I can't know if it's going to come out even or not, and it's not that kind of a trick. All we need are the 3 piles, and look, it's a good thing you took that last card to even those piles out. It's hard to say what might have happened. You selected a 3. Isn't it interesting that you've also found all 4 3s? Sometimes when people see that sort of thing, they say, boy, I'd hate to play cards with you, like I'm going to manipulate or cheat or something like that. I tell you what, I'm going to eliminate any possibility of manipulation or of cheating by giving you the deck. Take those cards, in fact, put them behind your back and mix the cards behind your back. Now, how can I control that or influence what's taking place? Tell you what I'd like you to do. Whatever card you cut to the top of the deck, I'd like you to mark it all the way with a large X from corner to corner on the back of whatever card you cut to the top of the deck or shuffle to the top.
Okay.
Got it? Well, that's pretty random. Mix that card back into the deck so there's no way that we can know where it is. And pull those cards back out, and I'm going to take it one step further. I'd like you to take those cards behind your back.
Okay.
Mix those cards behind your back, and this time turn it face up.
Okay.
And the X that you mark, corner to corner, mark it across the face of any card in the deck.
Okay.
Okay. You'll want to cut that card back into the center, just to be sure, and we'll see how we did.
Okay.
Good job. Let's see what we've got here. One card obviously is going to be marked across the back, just like this one was. Let's see which card you marked across the face. Now, the one thing that I find amazing is the bond that the two of you seem to have for each other, because out of all those cards, there seems to be none marked across the face. That's because the two of you have marked the one and the same card.
That's incredible.
Begin with the 4 3s secretly on top of the deck. As you slowly drop the cards onto the table, make certain the spectator really only has a choice of picking one of the 4 3s. Then place the other 3s back on top. Start counting the cards onto the table, and once you get past 10 cards, ask them to say stop. The only reason you make a point of going past 10 is because if you were really doing what you say you're doing, you would actually need to be prepared for that selection to be a face card. Of course, you know it's going to be a 3, but by being prepared, you add believability. As you're counting the cards onto the table, you are reversing their order, which means the 3s, which were on top of the deck, are now on the bottom of the counted stack. When you deal the cards into the 3 piles, the last 3 cards will always be on top of the 3 stacks, regardless of how many cards you started with. As obvious as this sounds, when you know the secret, this will completely fool anyone who doesn't know the trick. In 2 hearts that beat as one, you begin with a magic marker that you place in next from corner to corner on the back and the face of one of the cards. Then you leave the cap off of the magic marker until it completely dries the ink out. In our performance, we use the two of hearts. Place the card inside of the deck. If you want to perform this along with the fabulous 4 threes, place your marked card into the bottom half of the deck. That way it won't be seen during the first effect. Have the spectator place the cards behind their back, where they will mix them. Take the cap off of the dried out pen and have them mark the back of any card. Because the ink is dry, they won't be able to mark anything, but they won't realize that. Take back the pen and again have them mix the deck. Hand this deck to the second spectator and have them follow the same procedures, except they seem to mark the face of any card. Take back the pen, place it away, and conclude the effect by showing that both spectators have seemed to mark the exact same card. Professional card magicians handle cards in a smooth, elegant, and pleasing way. So here's a top 10 list from professional card handlers. Number 10, don't continually riffle the ends or over-shuffle the deck. The more you mess around, the more likely you'll mess up. Number 9, never admit to a mistake when you can act like it's part of the show. Number 8, always know exactly what you're going to do. The deck should always be more mixed up than you are. Number 7, some people just aren't in the mood to watch card magic, so be prepared to wait for the right moment. Number 6, always set the deck down and focus on the audience whenever possible, even if the cards are more interesting. And the number 5 tip from professional card handlers, don't describe what they can see for themselves. You seldom do card tricks on the radio. And number 4, never expect to make up your presentation on the spur of the moment. And there's a lot of reasons why. Number 3, a flourish does not a performance make, and a series of flourishes cannot long sustain interest. If your audience starts to look like this, you've done too many card tricks. And the number 1 tip from professional card handlers, never shuffle the deck while it's still in your pocket. This water comes from a famous pool of water in a temple in the south of Greece. Now there's a legend about this water, that when your reflection is cast in this water, magical things can take place. Isn't that interesting?
Okay.
Well, now I've been experimenting with this water, and I can try something new with it. Okay, now it's only going to last for a little while, so you have to do exactly as I do.
Okay.
Shuffle those cards. There you go. Very good. Square the cards up. What? No, it's okay because I dropped one too. Pick those cards up, square them up, and push them towards me. Now, take your deck,
Okay.
pull out any card, look at that card, and put it back on top of the deck. Now cut those cards to make sure that it's lost. Very good. And we'll trade cards. There we go.
Okay.
Now look through that deck to find your card. Take out your card and place it onto the table.
Okay.
And we've picked exactly the same card.
Very good.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, that's great.
The key card is one of the card magic's oldest and most versatile methods. A key card is not the selected card, but a card whose identity you know, which you manage to place next to the selected card. This way, you don't need to know the actual selection because you'll be able to find it by simply finding your key card, which has been placed next to it. In this version of You Do As I Do, as you first shuffle the deck, you'll give to the spectator, secretly look at and remember the bottom card of that deck. This becomes your key card, so you must remember it. Exchange decks and have both of you remove a card and look at it. Although you tell the spectator to remember their card, all you need to remember is your original key card. Then place your cards on top of the deck. This is important because by cutting the deck, the spectator thinks they're losing the card, but actually they're placing the key card right on top of their selection. No matter how much they cut the cards, as long as they are straight cuts and not strip outs or shuffles, your key card will always be on top of their selection. Then, when you trade decks, find your key card, and the card immediately below theirs is their selection. I carry this coin with me wherever I go because this is my lucky nickel. It looks like just about any nickel you might have, but I know this is my lucky nickel. I'll show you what I mean. I'll show you just how lucky it can be. Pull out any card that you'd like.
Okay.
Take a look at it. I'm going to cut the cards, several piles. Just drop yours in anytime. And I'll go one step further by giving it a few more cuts. Now, a card that lost, you'd have to be pretty lucky to find it. That's where my nickel comes in. I'm going to go beyond luck by putting my nickel on top and just pressing. Let's see how lucky I was. One card's turned face up right in the center of the deck. It's not your card, is it?
You weren't that lucky, were you?
Well, it's hard to say. You see, this isn't exactly supposed to be your card. It's an indicator card telling me exactly where to find your card. You see, if I count down 5, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That would be your card.
Very
the King of
good.
Spades. Not only that, but to show you just how lucky that nickel is, just in case we had been playing poker, not only did I find the king, but to round out that poker hand, I've also got the ace of clubs, diamonds, spades, and hearts. Now that's lucky.
Very good.
Thank you.
Great.
Take out the 4 aces and any 5, because this time, instead of placing just one card above their selection as a key card, you'll be placing 5 cards above their selection. Place the aces face down on the table with the 5 face up on top of them, followed by the rest of the deck. Have any card selected, and this time we used a different type of replacement for your 5 key cards. Remember, your stack is on the bottom of the deck. By doing running cuts to the table, you don't disturb the bottom cards. When they replace their card, simply place the rest of the deck on top of their card. You can cut the deck as many times as you'd like, as long as they are straight cuts, and you won't disturb that particular setup. However, be careful not to reveal your face-up 5, or it'll spoil the surprise. Place the nickel on top of the deck. Then, when you spread the cards to show the 5, count down to their selection, and then reveal the 4 aces for the big finish. I want to drop several cards onto the table just like this. Anytime you'd like, say stop.
Stop.
Now, this card was ready to go down. I'll give you a choice. You can have this card or this card, whichever one you'd like. Which would you prefer?
I'll take that one right there.
Take a look at that card. I'm going to drop a few more cards down. Drop your card in any time that you'd like. And we'll lose it inside of the deck. Just to make sure that it is really lost, I'll give the cards one more cut. One card out of all those cards belongs to you. It would be so difficult to find. I'm not even going to bother finding your card. I'm going to try to cut to my card. Let's see if I can do it. See, that's my card. It's my business card. Now, this business card has written on the back of it magic words. Let's see. The Mansion Hotel, right where we are. You see, if I spell those magic words, T-H-E, H-O-T-E-L. What was the name of your card?
The 10 of diamonds.
Let's see. The 10 of diamonds, exactly. Again, this is just another version of the key card principle. You'll notice I used a different method of selection just for variety, and again, I used a version of the running cut replacement in order to place our key cards above the selection. In preparing this effect, you can use any message on the business card you like, which makes it perfect for business and salespeople to promote a product. One magician I know has even used this trick to ask girls for a date, so use your imagination. As soon as you decide on your message, spell it using one card for each letter onto the table. In this case, the Mansion Hotel. T-H-E-M-A-N-S-I-O-N-H-O-T-E-L. Then place your business card on top of those, followed by the rest of the deck. Have a card selected and returned in such a way that your key cards fall on top of the selection. Selection will go here. Place your key cards directly on top of it. Square the deck up and you should easily be able to cut to your business card. Show the magic words, in this case, the Mansion Hotel. Spell it out, T-H-E-M-A-N-S-I-O-N-H-O-T-E-L. Then show the selection, and you'll have another wonderful effect that makes use of the key card principle. Hundreds of books have been written containing thousands of techniques and sleights for the card magician. At this stage, however, you only need to know the most basic card handling techniques, which we'll cover right now. You can retain the top card or cards during each of the three methods of shuffling. To control the top card during the riffle shuffle, just make certain the top card is the last card to fall during the shuffle. If you are controlling several cards, just make certain that block of cards is the last to fall during the shuffle. To control the top card during the Hindu shuffle, after you pull off the top block of cards, pick that block back up as you continue to shuffle, and hold a break between the cards you picked up and the rest of the deck. Then shuffle the rest of the deck away, bringing the top cards back to the top. To control the top card during the overhand shuffle, the left fingers hold the top card back as you shuffle away the rest of the deck. Another way to control the top card during the overhand shuffle is to pull the top card off first, meaning the top card will then be moved to the bottom of the deck. Then during the next shuffle, bring the bottom card all the way back to the top. This is a very deceptive method since all of the cards in the deck are cleanly and clearly involved during the shuffle. To control the bottom card during the riffle shuffle, simply let that card fall first during the shuffle. To control the bottom cards during the Hindu shuffle, don't pull out the bottom cards during the first shuffle. Instead, strip out a section of cards, leaving the bottom cards intact on the bottom of the deck. During the overhand shuffle, again, you can hold the bottom card in place during the process of the shuffle, or you can shuffle that card to the top of the deck before again shuffling it back to the bottom. The first method we'll cover is one of the most deceptive yet easy to perform false cuts in all of card magic. The top packet goes to the left, the middle in the center, and the bottom to the right. Without missing a beat, simply pick up the packet starting with the left packet, center, then the right-hand block. A good rhythm is important because you don't want them to have time to think about which packet is which. So do it crisply, but not too quickly, or it will look like you're trying to hide something. And here's what it looks like. There's a second method for performing a false cut, which is so convincing you can easily do it twice in a row. But as always, don't overdo it. Holding the cards between the thumb and middle finger of both hands, the right hand pulls out the bottom block and moves it to the top. Then it comes back down to take the middle block as both hands move to the sides. The bottom falls to the bottom as the right hand places the middle portion, and the left hand places the top portion back on top. Once more in slow motion. The right hand pulls out the bottom block and moves it to the top. Then it comes back down to take the middle as both hands move to the sides. This allows the bottom to fall to the bottom. The right hand replaces the middle, and the left hand replaces the top portion back on top. And here's what it looks like. To spread the cards for a selection, hold the deck in the left-hand dealer's grip as the right hand turns palm up as flat as possible. The left hand begins thumbing the cards over, just a few of the cards at a time, as the left hand moves to the right. The most important part of this hand-to-head spread is pushing the cards over with the left thumb. When spreading the cards on a soft surface, starting at the far left, press down on the center left side of the deck and move the deck towards the right. With just a little practice, the cards will evenly distribute themselves as they pass under the right index finger. When spreading the cards on a slick, hard surface, you use an entirely different technique. With the middle finger at one end and the thumb at the opposite end, the index finger presses down on the center of the deck. By releasing the cards from the tip of the middle finger and the pad of the thumb at the same time, you can move the hand to the right and the cards will dribble onto the table. If you've spread the cards on a soft covered surface, it's a simple matter to lift one end of the spread and turn over all of the cards in a ribbon. Allow the fingers to go underneath the spread at the end and you can scoop up the entire deck into your hand. The key to success is in having an even spread, so don't try any of the spread controls on a hard surface because the cards will slide around too much and you'll lose control of them. When fanning the cards, the deck is held in the left hand between the thumb, middle, and first fingers. The cards are held by the lower right corner with the deck slightly beveled and held at an angle. Pressing down on the upper left corner, the right hand moves in a semicircle around the left hand. The pads of the left fingers control the release of the cards from below. This works best with a new deck, but may become impossible when a deck gets too worn. The pressure fan is considered a more professional fan because it can be done with the deck in almost any condition. Holding the deck in an overhand grip, bend the deck over the left index finger. The cards are released under the controlled pressure of the right fingertips, and the hand moves in a semicircle around the left hand. To close the fan with one hand, the left middle finger stays at the corner. As the index finger moves along the face of the card, and by moving in opposite direction, the fan reverses itself and closes. For a one-hand fan, hold the cards by the narrow end with the fingers on the face card and the thumb on the inner corner above the third finger. By moving the thumb upwards, you simulate the actions of snapping the fingers. To perform the double fan, up-jog one half of the deck. Then twist the deck clockwise so the right hand can take that packet in one-hand fan position. The left hand takes the exact same grip and both hands execute fans at the same time. Riffle the ends of the cards together dramatically and square them up against the table. The one-hand cut, or the Charlier cut, begins with one long side of the cards along the fingers and the opposite long side held by the left thumb. The lower half drops onto the palm as the left index finger moves under the face of that packet. The finger extends, lifting the bottom packet up, allowing the upper packet to slide beneath it. Forcing a card is causing a spectator to end up with the card you want them to end up with while they believe their selection was random or freely made. This is one of the most guarded secrets of card magic, since the average person should never be allowed to suspect such a powerful tool even exists. Our first force is known by several names, sometimes known as the 9-down force and other times known as the 10 to 20 force. Based on a mathematical principle, all you have to do is place the card you want to force into the 9th position from the top of the deck. In this case, we will place the 3 of clubs into the 9th position as the force card. This is put into this position without the spectators knowing it. Begin by asking the spectator to name any number between 9 and 19. If they name 9, all you have to do is count down 9 cards and give them that card, and you have a perfect force. But this doesn't happen often, and that's okay. after you count down to the number they give. Let's say it's 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You pick up that counted packet. You then say, to make certain we get a truly random card, let's go one step further. Let's add the two numbers that make up the number 13, which would be 1 and 3, which equals 4. Counting down 4 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, look at this card and have the spectators remember it. Every time you go through this procedure, the card which ends up on top of the packet you are counting from will be the original 9th card from the top of the deck. That's the 9 down force. Our next force is known as the cut deeper force. Begin by putting the card you intend to force on top of the deck. Ask the spectator to cut off a small packet of cards and turn them over and replace it face up on top of the deck. Then ask them to pick up a larger packet to cut deeper than they did the first time, and then turn those over as well. Replace them on top of the deck. Push over the face-up cards until you get to the first face-down card and offer that to the spectator. This card will always be the original top card of the deck. So in spite of the two random cuts, you can influence the spectator to end up with whatever card you want them to. Learning to force a card is one of the techniques which constitute a beginning as opposed to an end in itself. With this ability, you can set up an unlimited number of possible ways to end the card effect you create. The late J. Gene Thompson said something to the effect of, if you know 100 ways to force a card, but only one way to reveal it, you really only know one trick. However, if you only know one method to force a card and 100 ways to reveal it, you actually know 100 tricks. So now that you've learned a couple of methods to force a card, let's look at a few ways to use that ability to create entirely different effects. I've shuffled your cards inside of the deck and placed it in the box, and I've got an empty bag.
Okay.
I'll place the cards inside of the card box, and I'll drop the card box inside of the paper bag. All I have to do is mix them just like this, and I'll reach inside the bag. Tell me the name of your card.
The Ace of Clubs.
I've got it.
Wow.
The Ace of Clubs. As you look through the cards, secretly cut the card you forced to the top of the deck. When you place the cards into the card box, allow the flap to go in between the selection and the rest of the deck. This way, when you place the box into the bag, hold on to the selection as the box falls, and then drop the selection in separately. Shake the bag around, then reach inside and pull out the spectator's selection. As you can see, the cards are well mixed. Your card is lost in the center. In fact, it's going to be so difficult for me to find it at this point that I'm going to have to call upon a couple of helpers to help me find it. I'll call upon the Ace of Spades, and I'm going to need my other ace, the Ace of Clubs, to help me find your card. This time I'll take the aces and I'll place them face up. You'll remember your card?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how fast the aces can find your card. All I have to do is toss, and I capture one card in between the two aces. What was the name of your card?
The Queen of Hearts.
I got it. The Queen of Hearts. As you take the aces from the deck, secretly cut the card you forced to the face of the deck. Of course, you can't let them see you doing this because the location of their card is going to be a surprise. Then you remove the aces, and you'll use the same technique we learned at the beginning of the video. Only this time, jog the bottom ace to one side. So your fingers will not only touch the bottom card, but the second card from the bottom as well. This way, when you toss the deck, you'll end up holding the two aces with the selection sandwiched in between them. I encourage you to create effects of your own which make use of the force. But whatever you do, don't simply pull the force card out of the deck and say, here's your card. That's considered the worst possible trick you can do with a deck of cards. If you're going to just name the card, reveal it gradually by first naming the color, then the suit, whether it was a high card or a low card, before finally naming the value. But I have a feeling you'll be creating some amazing effects with what you've already learned. The first step towards developing a presentation is to clearly understand what the effect is you'll be performing. I can't overemphasize the importance of this, but I can say it again. Clearly understand exactly what the effect is you'll be performing. This helps you know what to build up as important, and it helps you understand what parts you may want to make seem unimportant. That's a type of misdirection. For example, in our opening effect, I emphasized the values of the cards because that was important to the ending, but I did not emphasize the suits of the cards because that might give away the trick. Then, once you understand exactly what the basic effect is, remember that the effect itself is an empty vessel. It may dictate a certain shape of things to come, but only when it is filled with the substance of your presentation and personality does it take on new value, substance, and potential. An entertaining storyline or comedy can make something entirely new out of every effect you've learned on this video. Most important, never expect yourself to make something up once you begin performing. Always have at least a basic outline of what you'll say as you perform the effect. If you want to keep an informal feel to what you do, then you don't have to memorize a written script, but always know the framework of the entire presentation. Once you know what your presentation is going to be, then rehearse it in front of a mirror, completely acting out every word and gesture. Although you may fully understand all of the secrets we've shown you on this video already, you should never perform them until you have first decided what your presentation is going to be, and then acted it out completely for yourself several times in front of a mirror. I'm going to have you truly randomize the deck by pulling up a small packet of cards, turning it upside down and placing it on top of the deck. This time I'd like you to cut a little deeper. Lift that packet up and turn it over and put it on top. And let's go down to the first. That's going to be your totally random selection. Now what I'm going to do is take the rest of the deck and I'm going to shuffle them face up into face down, mixing them completely. And I'll give the cards a cut just like this. All I have to do is cast a shadow over this deck and all of the cards will turn themselves the right way except for the one card which he selected. All the cards will be face down except for the... Wait, you didn't return the card?
No.
Oh, I guess it's going to be pretty easy to find, huh? There! but I don't know what the card is. I tell you what, I'll identify that card by the process of elimination. I'll still go ahead and cast a shadow over the deck, causing all the cards to turn themselves the right way, each and every card that was shuffled face up and face down, except for 3 cards right in the center. That's the ace of diamonds, clubs, and hearts. My guess is that must be the ace of spades.
Kidding. Hey. Very, very good.
You begin with 1 ace secretly on top of the deck and 3 aces face up on the bottom of the deck. Again, you'll do the cut deeper force, which forces the ace, which was on top of the deck, on the spectator. Return those cards to the top of the deck. At this point, you have those 3 aces reversed on the bottom. As you cut the packet from above, both hands twist in such a way that it seems as if you reversed half the packet. It's actually an illusion created by those 3 face-up cards because nothing has changed places. Just revolve the hands, put the packets face to face, and then shuffle those cards together without allowing the spectators to see that all the cards are actually facing the same way, except for those 3 reversed cards that will now end up on top of the deck. Cut those cards into the center, and then use the presentational line of, oh, you didn't return your card to the deck? I'll have to find it by the process of elimination. Then spread through the cards to show that all the cards are one way, except for the 3 aces, which are face up in the center, which match, of course, the selected card. The great card magician, Michael Skinner, once told me that he always learns his effects in groups of 2 and 3. So that way, by remembering one effect, he was actually remembering a performance set. Also, this forced him to consider how one effect might lead into another. Beyond this basic performance set, always be sure to hold back 2 or 3 effects you can easily do, because performing another trick is usually the best way to get around the knee-jerk response of, how did you do that? Or do that again. Being able to do another trick allows you to slam the issue shut by saying, I never do that. But here's something you might enjoy. Finally, learn when to quit. This is very important. You should rarely, if ever, perform more than 4 or 5 card effects at one time. In most cases, 3 in a row is considered the official limit. As amazing as magic is, there's one thing that even magicians can't explain, and that's the power of destiny. The most that we could ever do is draw a little frame around it so that we can begin to ask how. I'll show you what I mean. Something that goes beyond magic all the way to destiny. I've got 2 decks of cards here. Either one of these decks, pick it up and place it into your pocket, either one that you'd like. And for you, this deck, name any number between 1 and 52.
13.
As you can see, of course, the cards are completely random, just like this. I'm going to cut the cards and give them a quick shuffle. And now I'm going to involve you. I'd like you to pick up a small packet of cards and turn them face up and place them back onto the deck. Okay. And to make it truly random this time, I'd like you to pick a larger number of cards up and turn them over. And I'm going to place the first upside-down card over to one side. That's been as random as I can make it. There's been a deck of cards in your pocket since we began. I'd like you to take that deck of cards out. I'd like you to count down to the 13th card from the top of the deck.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
And that's the 13th card. Hold on to it as I'll take these cards and place them to one side. As I said in the beginning, the power of destiny is something that even a magician can't explain. All we can do is put a frame around the event, as we've just done. One deck randomly placed aside, a number randomly arrived at, a card randomly selected. If you would, please, turn over that card and let's see the power of destiny. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, that's great.
To perform the power of destiny, take one of the 2 decks and remove the ace, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of spades. Then shuffle the remainder of the deck. Then spread it out so that you can see every card. And counting from the top, insert one of the spades at every 10th card. So you end up with a spade at the 10th, 20th, 30th, and 40th positions. I put the ace of spades at the 10th, 2 of spades at the 20th, 3 of spades at the 30th, 4 of spades at the 40th, and the 5 of spades at the 5th position, or the 50th down from the top. Take the second deck and stack it into the exact same order as the deck you have just shuffled, and put both decks back into their boxes. When you begin, it won't matter which of the decks the person places into their pocket, because both decks are identical. And once the second person picks their number, take the second deck and spread it. As you do, use your knowledge of the positions of the spades to quickly find the card which lies at the number they name. For example, card 23 is just 3 cards down from the 2 of spades. Quickly cut that card to the top of the deck and give the deck an overhand shuffle which retains the card on top of the deck. Then perform the cut deeper force and have that person place that card onto the table. Have the first person remove their deck so they can count down to the chosen number and have them remove that card. Now dramatically build up the effect before revealing the match and the power of destiny. I hope you had a good time and that soon you'll be amazing and entertaining people with what you've just learned. This has just been the first step on an endlessly fascinating adventure with amazing secrets of card magic.